And I think that's sort of the missing piece. And we've touched on it lightly in our conversation, but it's like, how much, do I need to invest? What's the ROI? These are all the questions. Would you say they're the wrong questions to be asking? Rather, should someone look at it through a different lens?
I think the question of ROI, you might not get an ROI. If you looked at the investments that we as Deepwater Subsea has made in technology, we're probably a negative ROI because we're not gaining anything back from like, hey, we've invested, just hypothetically, we invested $100,000 in all this technology and it's going to make us $500,000.
Yeah.
There's no outside, because the question is, well, what if you didn't have the technology? Could you still deliver your the work that you do? Yeah, absolutely. Technology's just made us more efficient at it. It didn't eliminate people. It didn't speed up anything because I'm there as an inspector. So I'm basically watching somebody else do their job. And I think, unfortunately, for an example, from an inspection criteria and the things that we do, one of the things in the U.S. is the regulator can come in and say, show me the documentation that you used for this. And I kind of briefly touched on it earlier. We actually had an example of that where the U.S. regulator caught wind of a problem across industry and went back to our customer and said, this rig has this type of equipment on it. What did you guys do to make sure this thing was closed out? And so our customer came back to us. I pulled up our industrial form where the check was in place, went to the operations logbook. Here's all the objective quality evidence that we captured. It was 5 minutes worth of work to turn around and go, here you go, Mr. Regulator. Here's all the proof that this work was done. And they actually sat back and were kind of like, can you show us more about that?
Yeah,
and so
unheard of.
And so now for us, when in the Gulf of Mexico, the new rule talks about the new U.S. regulation for blowout preventer testing, the requirement's 14 days. But if you document from a condition monitoring standpoint and, the work that's been done and failures, you can request 21 days. The thing that's interesting is the industrial forms operations logbook, smart plant, it does everything that the U.S. regulator is asking for. And so the ROI to our customer is, hey, if you utilize us, I can check all of the boxes that the U.S. regulator is looking for through the processes that we do every day, utilizing the technology that we have. There's not a tangible value that's put to it. Yeah, a customer can come on board and say, we're going to come on board because you can do the following, but I can't say they came on board because of this, because they're really looking for the other half of the service. But that technology helped elevate us above our competition.